Back, 70% of banks say they're cutting back on credit card solicitations. Many are reducing credit lines to existing cardholders as well. Even so, banks say they've got the situation under control.
You know the economy is riskier today than it was a year ago, so you naturally take that into account so you have the capacity to come out of this even stronger than you came into it.
But until the economy picks up and inflation slows down, credit card debt is certain to remain a huge burden for American households, as well as a threat to bank profits. Rick?
Let me put the pressure on you. You just did the research on this story. What's the takeaway? What's the one thing you learned that you need to share with us?
The one thing that people need to know is you really do need to whittle away at that credit card debt. This is the worst sort of interest. It's not deductible, and you're paying 15, 18, maybe even a higher percentage rate. Odds are you are not going to get that return in the stock market. If you're putting money into the market regularly, stop for a little bit. Take that money, pay off your credit card debt. You're going to do better, then go back to investing.
Can you do me a favor? Can you tell that to the U.S. government as well? That deficit announced this week kind of tells us something, huh? We do better than they do half the time. Thanks so much. Good stuff. Jerry, over to you.
And good advice from Alan. Well, telling a little lie here and there is human, but would you lie on your resume? It's a trend that can have serious consequences. We'll tell you what they are. And getting what you want, don't you love this? When you want it. We'll tell you how to get a good deal on just about everything. You're watching the home of issue number one, the economy, CNN.
Welcome back to issue number one. I'm Rick Sanchez. Here's a question for you. How far would you go to get a job? Would you lie on your resume to get a job. Think about that. We're going to come back to it in just a little bit. But first, we were together last week at the Unity Conference in Chicago. Now we're together via satellite. Isn't TV grand?
TV is grand because you get to hang out and we don't have to pay for it, Rick. How you doing today?
You picking up the bill?
Yeah, no, well, CNN's picking up the bill. You doing okay? By the way, before you answer, you're doing a great job up there. A great job.
I'm a regular Ali Velshi.
Yeah, no, you're a regular Rick Sanchez, and we appreciate that.
Thanks,
hey,
Tom.
Rick, love you. Talk to you in a little bit.
Right.
We want to talk now about President Bush. President Bush is calling out Congress. Last hour, the president came out of a meeting with his cabinet. Their topic, reining in gas and energy prices. President Bush says his administration has taken steps to lead. Now Congress has to follow. President Bush wants a democratically controlled Congress to approve more drilling offshore and in the Alaskan Arctic. North Carolina police have charged a suspect with the killing of pregnant soldier found in a motel bathtub. Army Specialist Megan Tuma was 7 months pregnant when she died last month. Now police have charged a fellow soldier who they say is the father of her unborn baby. They're charging him with first-degree murder. His name is Edgar Patino. Police say they've linked Patino to some anonymous confession letters mailed to police and the local newspaper. California burning, and it is shaking as well. We were very lucky. That's a quote. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger said that after yesterday's 5.4 magnitude earthquake. The quake rattled nerves from Los Angeles all the way to San Diego and even to Las Vegas, but it caused only limited damage and minor injuries. Meantime, on the California fire lines, more than 24 helicopters and air tankers are flying over a wildfire near Yosemite National Park. They're trying to stop the fire's spread through terrain that's too tough for firefighters to even reach. As many as 4,000 homes are threatened. Okay, before I throw it back to Jerry Willis, I know she's waiting for me in just a second. Jerry, I have a question for you. You've been overseas, you've been to Amsterdam, I'm sure some places where people can smoke marijuana in public,
I haven't
correct?
been to those places.
Yeah. Yeah,
I haven't been to those places. No.
So
Tell
what
the
about,
truth, you know.
You know, what about here in the United States? That's what some people are.
Yeah, I know. People are fighting for it, right?
Been fighting for it. Well, Barney
Yeah.
Frank introduced legislation. He is going to hold a press conference today to talk about it, and we're going to talk to him in the CNN News. We're going to have a conversation with him in just a few minutes about that. He says it's time that America catches up with the rest of the world.
Great get. That's a good interview.
Yeah, we'll see you. Hey, Jerry, always good to see you and Rick. Have a great show. I'll talk to you later.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, everybody wants a job, right? Times are tough, and a lot of folks will do, well, just about anything to get a job, but there are limits. There is such a thing as going too far, like lying on your resume, and there could be consequences down the road, as we're about to find out. Richard Castellini is with CareerBuilder.com. Okay, Richard, I want to start by talking a little bit about the fact that this was a real survey. It sounds funny, but you interviewed 3,100 hiring managers, 8,700 workers. And what did you find? How many folks have lied on their resume?
Well, although only 8% of workers admitted to lying on their resume, about half of the hiring managers have seen flawed resumes.
That doesn't match up, really.
Yeah.
So somebody's lying even in your survey, I think. What happens, though? Richard, what happens when somebody lies on their resume, they get caught? Are they immediately booted?
Well, I mean, about 60% of the hiring managers will immediately dismiss that candidate. 36% of the hiring managers will actually continue to review them in the process, but it's always puts a dark cloud over them. And only 6% of the hiring managers have ever hired someone that had a flawed resume, so to speak.
Flawed. Is that what we're calling it now? Okay, well. Tell us a little bit about what people are lying about, because, you know, it's one thing. I think some people, they're worried about different kinds of things in their background. Maybe they're trying to cover up a period of time, maybe when they didn't work. But what's the main thing out there that folks are not telling the truth about?
A lot of people are embellishing their responsibilities, you know, making out their jobs as a cashier to be a manager, or if you're the manager to be a district supervisor, things like that. You know, beyond that, people are claiming to have skills that they don't have and stretching those employment dates.
All right, so lots of things obviously people aren't telling the truth about. I would assume that some businesses, people lie more than others. True?
Well, I think it varies. Obviously, in the higher professional ranks, you would assume that that would decrease into into areas that you can't check as much, probably less. But we didn't survey into that area.
But hospitality, obviously, at the top of that list. Transportation, utilities. I've got to get you to this question: what are the big Lulus that people have told that were absolutely not true?
Well, some of these are just outrageous. People claiming to be members of the Kennedy family, people claiming to be the CEO of a company despite being an hourly worker, people inventing schools despite the fact that the school doesn't even exist. And here's the one that really wasn't smart. Somebody claiming to be a member of Mensa.
That was not. Okay,
yes.
Well, we'll keep that in mind. Don't put Mensa on your resume. Okay, Rick Castellini, thanks for helping us out. Great information and a really great topic. Rick?
Oh, thank you.
We're following Wall Street behind me. Also, these things. Imagine if your town where you live said, no more McDonald's for you, no KFC, no Burger King. It's happening in one major city. We're going to explain that to you. Also, how to get what you want every time. We're going to show you how to, you ready? This is an important word here. Haggle. Haggle. How to haggle. Don't miss this one, folks. It'll save you a whole lot of money right here on issue number 1.
The city of Los Angeles is going on the offensive against fast food. The city council there is placing a moratorium on new fast food eateries in poor areas of the city. Now, those areas are loaded with fast food joints and above average rates of obesity. The year-long ban is aimed at giving the city time to attract restaurants that serve healthier food. But not if the California Restaurant Association has anything to do with it. The group is considering a legal challenge to the ordinance. Rick.
I want to talk about something now that involves saving you money. And it's something that you can really save a lot of money on, and you may not even know that the opportunity is there. Now, if you want to practice this, the best place to go in the United States is Chinatown here in New York, all right? This is something that's in Money Magazine. Amanda Gengler is with us now. She's going to be talking exactly about it. But before, I got a story for you. You ready?
Ready.
So I go to Chinatown yesterday, and I'm looking around. I figure I kind of need a briefcase. I walk into a place, and they show me this briefcase. I said, man, I really don't need it, so I start to walk out. The closer I get to the door, the price goes down. Now I'm closer to the door, the price goes down again. Now I'm almost out the door, the price is now down by $15, $20. I ended up getting this briefcase for about 40 bucks. It's leather, it's nice. I was haggling without even knowing it.
And threatening to leave, it usually works. And you are one of the 70% of Americans who has haggled a price down recently. That's up 12 percentage points from a year ago. So now is a great time to do it.
This is the time to haggle.
Yes.
Because what, people are desperate out there?
Well, with the way the economy is going, a lot of industries are down. I mean, health clubs, they saw great growth in the 90s. They're down. Retail sales have been sluggish since January. So these companies need to get you in the door.
Okay, but look, people in Asia, people in Europe, people in other parts of the world, they do this like it's just the way they do it. It's a system where they go in and they talk somebody down. We're not used to it, so we don't know where and when and how. Can you teach us?
Okay, well first it's obviously going to depend on where you're going, but a great place is just to throw out that other competitors are offering you a better deal. So this can work with maybe your cell phone carrier or your cable company. It's the cable companies and the telephone companies are in a turf war right now. So call them up and say, the other company is offering me a better deal, can you match this price?
And that's it. They'll usually take it from there because they're going to want your business.
Or someone like a mortgage broker, for example. The housing industry is down. Brokers need your business. So don't beat around the bush. Just say up front, will you negotiate on your commission? And brokers typically earn 1 to 2% of the purchase price in commission, and you can probably get that down to about 0.75%.
The average person, the average citizen is real buttoned up about this because they think it's a little intimidating. They're big numbers, they don't know more. They're not a mortgage broker. So I almost need you to tell them it's okay. You can go in there and say, I can't afford this. I need you to get me a better deal, right?
If you threaten to either take your business elsewhere or close your account or go to a competitor, then you have the power. That's what you need to understand today, that you do have the power.
What kind of savings can be realized by something like this? And I know I have to be, example specific. So let's start with the mortgages, for example. You're trying to get a mortgage of, let's say, $100,000. How much money could you save if you got the right numbers?
Well, let's say that you were able to get that commission, generally about 1 to 2% of the purchase price, down to 0.5%. I mean, we're talking on a $200,000 loan, $250,000 loan, that could be over $1,000.
Exactly.
With a health club, you have a good shot today. This may be news because people don't think about negotiating with the health club, but August is generally their down period. Sales reps need to meet their goal. So go in at the end of the month and say, what kind of wiggle room can you give me? And you may get that initiation fee knocked off. That's big with the health club, or maybe even a lower monthly rate.
So look for the wiggle room just about everywhere. We tend to think everything has a set price. There really is no set price.
Even in big retail stores, the trick there is probably finding the person who has the authority to give you that, but bring in a printout of whatever purchase you're looking for at a lower price and say, can I talk to your supervisor? Can you match this?
That is news you can use. Good stuff. Great explanations. Thanks for taking us through it. Jerry, over to you.
Love that. Okay, find the wiggle room and then haggle. There is, I should say, a developing story at JFK Airport in New York City right now. Flights are being delayed and canceled. We're going to tell you why. And we'll open up the help desk. We talk about the topics that concern you. The address is issue1@cnn.com.
We've got some developing news. We're showing you some of the pictures. Obviously, you're looking at a lot of bags there. It's a developing story that's coming to us out of John F. Kennedy Airport. If you're flying American Airlines out of JFK today, you might be having a really bad day, and here's why. American Airlines is having some kind of trouble with its conveyor belt system that handles all this luggage you see here. Get this, only 10 to 20% of the bags are actually making it onto the flights. Only 10 to 20% are making it. The rest, 20 flights have already been delayed by more than an hour. The airline says that the conveyor belt problem is related to a computer software issue that runs the system. It says that workers are trying to sort the bags out right now manually, so they're trying to get it done. They're doing the best they can. It says they're going to deliver those left behind bags once the problem is fixed. By the way, CNN's Mary Snow, she's en route to JFK Airport right now, and she's going to be able to file a report for us as soon as she gets there. Let us know really how bad the problem is, if it's really that bad at all. No word of American's going to be refunding the $15 they charge for the first bag that's checked, by the way. Good question, huh? We're on it for you. Jerry, over to you.
Thanks, Rick. Well, okay, folks, it's Help Desk time. Answers to your questions about money. Let's get right down to it. Stephanie Allworder is with smartmoney.com. Doug Flynn is a certified financial planner. And Amanda Gingler, you just saw her a few minutes ago, is back with us from Money Magazine. Welcome all. Let's get right down to that first question. Jim in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania asks, we are about to purchase our first home. We waited out the market over the last year because it was too inflated. Now, however, we are wondering how much we can negotiate down from the asking price. So we just heard you talk about haggling. Amanda, tell us, on a big ticket item, how do you haggle?
Forget what the sellers are asking. Too many sellers are pricing their home according to yesterday's market. So instead, ask your agent, what have comparable homes gone for in the area? I'd say in the past 3 to 6 months. And then don't be afraid to come in 10% below those recent selling prices, maybe even 15% if there's a huge glut of homes in the area. Because worst case scenario, they say no, well, you have plenty of other homes to choose from.
Doug, I want you to weigh in on this because I know you are on the case for folks, for consumers. You're the people that you work with all the time.
Sure. When clients are entering into this kind of a transaction, you want to come in as low as possible, to almost to the point of insulting the seller, but not quite insulting them, but enough to get the dialogue going so they know you're interested, because you should go back and forth probably 3 times
on
before
price.
Exactly. So you have to get in low enough so that you have room to go back and forth a couple times.
Key is getting good information on what comps are and understanding the market so you feel really comfortable with your number and you're not embarrassed to say it. Let's go to the next question. It's an anonymous one. I recently looked at my credit report and noticed I had around $8,000 in collection account debt. I want to pay it off, but I don't know who to pay. Should I pay the collection agency or the original creditor, which are both showing negatives on my credit report? Okay, there are like 5 red flags in this, I think, Stephanie. What do you say?
Well, for starters, you should probably pay off the balance with the collection agency. They're the one that are holding the debt right now. But it is obviously a sign that there are some problems going on here. For starters, this reader wasn't aware that this was out there. And I would say if they really are struggling with debt, not only do they want to pay this off, but they should find a good, reputable credit counselor. You can find a nonprofit to really help you out, and then really work on building back that credit score, which does take a little time.
Amanda? You look like you had something to say there, because I think this is a fascinating question. This person doesn't even know they had something in collections. I mean, you know, calling the collection agency, that's not where I would go first.
And paying off that debt may not improve the score by as much as you think. That damage is already there, so it really is going to take probably a couple of years to sort of build your way back to good credit, and the most obvious thing to do is to pay those bills on time.
I hate surprises in your credit report.
We saw a recent study that said 25% of credit reports had errors serious enough to deny you credit. So it's a great reason why you need to go look at it.
Right, lots of errors in those reports. Archie in Iraq, we have an email from Iraq, says, I'm in Iraq working as a contractor, making on average $7,100 a month, tax free. Wow. Okay, I have about $4,000 left over every month after bills. What is the best investment for me, or should I just continue trying to save this money? Doug, what do you say to your clients who come to you and say, I have a lot of dough I want to put to work?
The fact that he has $4,000 left over every month, that can go a long way towards his goals. And the question is, what are the goals? Are you planning to buy a home? Are you planning to put away for retirement? So really what it comes down to is, if they're long-term goals, you want to go for, it's a good time to get into some equity stock mutual funds.
Now is the time, right?
It is the time, and if you're just getting in, these are the times to really get in. If you have 5 or more years, if you're looking at 1 to 3 years, I would go with something like a tax-free mutual fund, tax-free bond fund that the pricing is so good right now.
Okay, well, guys, great answers to tough questions. Really appreciate your help today. Stephanie Allwarder, Doug Flynn, and Amanda Gangler, thanks so much for your help today. Rick?
Hey, if you want to ditch your car, you want to forget the plane, then why not get a jetpack? Look at that. And we're going to tell you who that guy is right there, by the way. Remember when I got tasered and I made it on Jon Stewart and all that stuff? Well, this could be another CNNer having a Jon Stewart moment. Not promising. Also, don't forget to vote. Log on to cnnmoney.com right now for today's quick vote. Results next. You are watching issue number 1.
Has your financial situation led you to change your spending habits? That's today's quick vote question for how you voted. Let's check back in with CNNmoney.com's Poppy Harlow. Okay, what did people say?